Hi everybody, it's me again. I'm going to make a couple videos today because I've had some requests and I just kind of want to get these ones out there so that they can help people. Um, Again, my own experience. So I had a request for speaking to other beings in different dimensions, okay? And my experience with this. So I do have some experience with speaking with different beings from other dimensions. And, we could all be different beings from different dimensions now in physical form here on Earth at this time to help awaken humanity, um, to hold the energy of love in order to transmit that. And the more and more people that do that, the more we can shift consciousness on Earth. So I'll just give you a little bit about my experience in speaking with higher dimensional beings. Or I believe they do come from a dimension that's higher than the Earth dimension. But it's not to say that these beings know more than you do or anything like that. They know they have different skill sets. And they do know information that if you're going new to a spiritual awakening or you're just going through a spiritual awakening, you might not have these particular skill sets yet. So, let's see. Maybe 6 or 7 years ago is when the height. I had the height of my awakening where I was just feeling everything. It was horrible pain, then it was like wonderful bliss, and I was like, whoa! I could see too much. I could see everything. I could feel everything. Feel what everyone was feeling. And, certain experiences would come around me in order to help me learn and grow and to become the person that I was becoming. Through this process, I would actually take really, really long, long walks in nature. I would spend a lot of time contemplating what is happening to me. I kind of knew that I was awakening spiritually, but I didn't really have any, formal advice that that's what was taking place. I just really went within myself and started asking myself a lot of questions. I started replaying my life and thinking about things and things not making sense because my whole life was changing. A whole new way of life was opening up for me. And I knew that I had to let go of the past or what I had known of my life prior. And while this was happening, I would speak to like a very wise type of being. And I'm not sure the being's name. The being told me their name, but it's like I couldn't pronounce it in regular. It was kind of like a long name. And this particular being like reminded me of sort of like a wizard, like a wise wizard. It was really weird. But and now I even think it's weird because now I have no need to speak to any beings. Just my own. I trust in my own inner knowing. Completely. No questions asked. What I feel within me to be true is true. So I'm not questioning, so I don't need to ask beings. And this being just kind of came and would talk to me when I would walk in the trees. I would take a long, 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 long walks. And this being told me that what I would be doing in the future. And this being would tell me what my qualities were that I didn't know yet. Because before that, I knew what I loved to do, but I didn't really know that I could actually do that in real life. Like I thought I had to follow society and just do what was right in front of me and continue this path of like, misery, pretty much. So this being would talk to me and tell me, wonderful things. So I don't feel that this being was in any way intrusive or like invading my space. This being would tell me good things, and this being would actually talk to me in my dreams as well. Now, this being wouldn't always be there. and I don't think I could call on this being. I called on this being a couple of times, and this being came to speak with me when I had really pressing questions, or just even sometimes when I would call on this being wouldn't come. So it wasn't like I could speak to this being all the time. It's almost like when I needed to really rely on myself, this being wouldn't be there. And so that was a hard lesson to learn. These are all lessons. So I realized that over time that I could rely on my own information from within. I didn't need to connect to any other kind of being to understand what was happening or what I needed to be doing. And that's what beings can be helpful, I feel, can be helpful for. They can come and kind of, so you can hear it from a different perspective. That you have these gifts, skills, and abilities, and this being was helping to kind of coach me along, but at the same time would leave me hanging when I really needed information in order to become self-reliant and independent and really trust what was going on within me. Okay, that was one being. And then another being, one time, okay, I channeled a couple of beings a couple of times. And I hadn't really even heard of channeling. Actually, I had heard about it a little bit years before, but I didn't remember at the time what it was. My spiritual awakening, I was very much like on my own, and then I would try to contact anybody, anything that was out there, because I was like, what's going on? I need some help. But I never had any beings that were, harmful or anything like that. We had a couple ghosts in one of the houses that I lived in, but we moved out of that house quickly because I'm not really into that kind of vibrational energy at all. People hanging on to this realm that can't let go of like material possessions or something. That's what it felt like. They couldn't let go of that house. It was weird. Anyway, that's a totally different story. And this all happened at the same time. All these beings at the same time. This probably about a year's time. And I never before had talked to beings or thereafter. So I was in a certain situation where I needed to heal someone. And I have formal training in massage therapy. I'm a massage therapist. And, I went to school for over a year and learned, acupressure, shiatsu, cranial sacral therapy, Swedish massage, deep tissue massage, all these different modalities. It was really great. I really liked it and enjoyed it. But this lady was coming to me and she was very sick, and I didn't know what to do because I realized I couldn't do the same massage techniques that I had been used to because her body had some issues and you couldn't, massage in the same way. So I had to use energy work, and I didn't know what energy work was. I didn't know how to do it. And so I went walking. This is all just coming back to me now that I'm speaking about it because somebody's really interested in learning about this. Anyway, I would go walking, and I was like, I really need these answers. I really need to know how to heal this woman, yet I don't have the skills. Like, I don't know energy work. And this being was like, you do know energy work. And I was like, no, I don't know energy work. And I was just adamant about it, and I was really scared because she was really sick and really needed help. So, I don't know if I had made an agreement to channel this being or not, but before she came over, I cracked open the kitchen window, and this was like a heavy window. This was like a window that it was an interesting window. It was like heavy, but you could prop it up anyway in the kitchen that was like off the room that I was in. And she came over, and all of a sudden this being, I actually said it was okay because you always have to give permission. Nothing will happen to you without your permission. So if you're going to be overtaken by the dark forces, by dark entities, which is a whole nother story that I may make another video about because this is a really good story about dark entities. That's a whole different time, actually. I saw beings. I didn't communicate with them, but I saw dark beings around people. You have to allow these beings to come, either to speak with you, to come into your space, to totally overcome you, whatever it is, you're granting them your permission. When you tell these beings no, or I just don't want anything to do with you, they'll leave. It's as simple as that. You don't, there's no other, way to describe it. It's easy. You either give your permission or you don't. So I gave this being permission to come through me and channel into my body, and I felt it. Okay, I felt this being come through me, but I felt like this being was not necessarily a bad being, but the energy of this being was way different than my energy. Okay, they had the same similar amount of like love. I think everything is hard to describe. Anyway, this being came through me and could do Reiki all of a sudden, and I didn't know how to do Reiki, so I did Reiki over her body, and I did a couple of massage things where I could, but basically this being sent all this, he did all this stuff, okay? After the session, was over, I talked with her for a little while, and she let out a lot of emotional pain, and then she left. About 1 minute after she left the room, and I was kind of like cleaning up, my kitchen window that doesn't usually shut by itself slammed shut. Like the being went out the window and slammed shut in the kitchen. And so after that, I fell asleep, and it felt like forever, hours and hours, and I just couldn't wake up. My energy was so drained from allowing another being into my body to do this healing work. So I never did that again. I never wanted to do that again because it just felt very foreign to me. It didn't feel right. So people that channel other beings, I don't know how they do it. That's great and all, but for me, I didn't like other beings in my space. And so now this comes all full circle around to, and I've had, experiences with the light orbs and, very angelic beings and everything. I mean, everything you can imagine except for real dark beings. The darkest beings that I had experience with were, the ghosts and stuff like that. And they were not scary at all. I was just like, you need to go, Maybe that's just my motherly instinct. I just do not put up with stuff like that. I'm just like, you need to go. So, anyway, different beings. Okay. So if you need guidance, I feel that, when I needed guidance, they came in handy. They were just like a teacher or someone kind of, a coach kind of saying, oh, keep going and everything like that. So as far as like heavily relying on anything other than with your own inner guidance, I wouldn't suggest that. This process is about becoming who you are as a person, listening to your inner guidance and being fully yourself so that you can help others with your message or just with your own beingness. So I think that's all I have to say about that. Maybe I'll make another video another time about the dark beings that I could see the one time. And that's a really interesting story. That could take up, a whole video. So if you guys want to see that, then comment below that you want to see that, and I might do it another time. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to schedule a spiritual guidance session with me, please go below the video and go onto my website under spiritual services, and you can do that there. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.